Hello everyone, my name is Greg and today I prepared for you 5 questions from the latest instrumentation exam seen in the last 30 days across all authorities. Topic for today is integrated instruments. Question number 1. The rotary selector knob of the EFIS ND allows for selection of an aircraft symbol in the center or in the lower part of the screen, a display that is oriented as either heading up or track up, a side view, a top view, or a three-dimensional view, a color palette from a menu. Depending on aircraft type, there can be a different layout of EFIS control panel. For example, on Airbus aircraft, we have 3 knobs. One for bar reference setting, the second allows to select a desired range, and the third one allows to select one of 5 ND modes. 4 of them, ROS LS, ROS viewer, ROS nav, and plan mode, place the aircraft symbol in the center of the display. And the 5th one, the arc mode, display the aircraft symbol in the bottom. So the correct answer will be answer number 1. The selector knob allows for selection of an aircraft symbol in the center or in the lower part of the screen. And answer number 1 is correct. Question number 2. A crew is operating an Airbus A320 aircraft with both right and left fuel tanks filled to their maximum capacity, which is the same for both tanks. During the flight, the co-pilot observes that the upper display indicates 900 kilograms of remaining fuel in the left tank, while the right tank still holds approximately 2,500 kilograms of fuel. What should the crew do in this situation? The crew should promptly assume that the fuel pump of the right engine is not supplying fuel and initiate a mayday fuel distress call. The engine with the higher fuel quantity should be shut down immediately, followed by opening the crossfeed valve. The crew should promptly open the crossfeed valve to redistribute the fuel, or the crew should exercise caution when considering opening the crossfeed valve due to the elevated risk of a fuel leak, which would potentially result in total fuel loss. Alright, whenever we consider opening the crossfeed valve, we have to make sure that we do not have fuel leak. In case of this question scenario, where we do not have any information about any malfunctions besides abnormal fuel imbalance, the fuel leak would be the first thing that anybody would think of. And in case of fuel leak, the last thing you want to do is to open the crossfeed valve and lose the fuel from the both sides. If you'd like to learn more about similar real case scenario, I would recommend you to read about Air Transit Flight 236. Now, coming back to the question, as we can see, the only reasonable answer is answer number 4. The crew should exercise caution when considering opening the crossfeed valve due to the elevated risk of a fuel leak, which could potentially result in total fuel loss. And this answer is correct. Question number 3. The primary flight display, PFD, of an EFIS-equipped aircraft can display information relative to the following conditions: altitude capture, TCAS resolution advisory, autopilot and flight director mode changes, low engine oil pressure, terrain alerts, wind chill detection, pressurization failure, altitude capture, TCAS resolution advisory, or altitude capture, braking system, autopilot, and flight director mode changes. On PFD, so a primary flight display, you will find all vital information for a safe flight path management. Top of PFD contains FMA, so flight mode annunciator. There we can find all relevant information regarding automation, such as vertical and lateral automation flight modes, including altitude capture, autopilot and flight director engagement status, autothrust or approach and landing capabilities. PFD also includes TCAS resolutions advisory that are presented to the flight crew on the vertical speed indicator. Now, for all aircraft systems related information, we have to go to 2 ECAM display units: the upper ECAM engine warning display contains engine parameters and display all kind of information and failure messages if required. The lower ECAM system display presents relevant system pages or aircraft status page. If we now check the answers, we can see that the items solely relevant to the flight path management guidance we can find in answer number 1. Altitude capture, TCAS resolution advisory, autopilot and flight director mode changes. And this answer is correct. Question number 4. The EFIS control panel allows the pilots to change which of the following: altimeter pressure setting, ND range, TCAS mode, VOR ADF information, or GPWS display. Depending on the aircraft manufacturer, the EFIS control layout can vary. The common items on Boeing and Airbus EFIS control panels are bar reference settings, ND modes and range, and VOR ADF display selection. The EFIS control panel does not include any displays except a bar reference window in the Airbus aircraft. Also in Airbus, the EFIS panel contains optional data display push buttons that, upon selection, allow to display on ND data like constraints, waypoints, VOR DMEs, NDBs, or airports. So the correct answer will be answer number 1, altimeter pressure setting, ND range, and VOR ADF information. And answer number 1 is correct. Question number 5. During takeoff, the aircraft flies through a flock of birds. The ECAM announces the engine failure. Some of the items on the on-screen checklist contains a confirm step. For instance, pilot monitor, engine failure, engine number 1, confirm, pilot fly, confirm. And the question is, why do pilots need to confirm? To prevent inappropriate reactions caused by a misinterpretation of the malfunction by the system, to fulfill regulatory requirements and maintain proper documentation for incident reporting, to satisfy a bureaucratic requirement for pilots to verbally acknowledge the failure, regardless of its obvious nature, to synchronize the information and confirm the engine failure with the air traffic control for coordination purposes. Okay, for this question, the correct answer is the only one that actually makes sense. So answer number 1, to prevent inappropriate reactions caused by a misinterpretation. I must admit though that the wording of this question and of the answer is not very clear. Since the question talks about ECAM, we know that we are dealing with Airbus aircraft. Now, to clear things up, I want to say that current Airbus SOPs, at least for A320 that I'm flying with, does not require pilots to confirm the failure as such. Pilot monitoring announce the failure from ECAM, for example, engine 2 fail. And pilot flying requests the ECAM actions to be carried out. There are only a few types of actions that have to be confirmed, and they are movement of any thrust lever if needed, and this action is actually performed by pilot flying, switching engine master off to ensure that we do not close the live engine, and operation of any guarded push buttons or irreversible actions like disconnecting integrated drive generator IDG, pushing engine fire push button, or switching inertial reference mode selector from nav to attitude or off. So like I mentioned before, the closest possible answer and the only one that make any sense is the answer number 1. And this answer is a correct one. Okay guys, thank you very much for today. I hope you enjoyed and see you next time.